Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
What is Café Mocha? Café Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari. So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Café Mocha.
It's Café Mocha with Emmy Award-winning talk show host Lonnie Love, hip-hop diva Yo-Yo. I'm Angelique. This is Café Mocha. Our guest had and still has us singing the words, "I'm Not Your Superwoman." Karyn White is here to talk about what that iconic song means today. She's here with new music and an exciting new chapter in her life. Welcome to Café Mocha, Karyn White.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Beautiful sisters.
Oh, God, we are just loving on you. You look amazing. Welcome to Café Mocha. We are so excited to have you because your song, like she said, has got us through many moons and it's taken us through decades. And still to this day, we are saying we are not your Superwoman. Aww. So the song Superwoman became your anthem to so many women. Now, when you look back, what does that saying mean to you now?
I'm not your Superwoman. That means for me, it's like, listen, it's my declaration to not having to be the woman to have it all together. Cause we got to give ourselves as permission to not be strong sometimes. And, that's what it means. It's like, I'm only human. That's the part I'm only human because we want to be, all things, and we are to our kids, to the families and in the relationships. So it just gives me permission to just say, it's okay. I'm only human. If I fail, give me some grace.
Did you feel like when you were recording it, it would become an anthem?
Wow. Okay. So I'm telling you, if I could really step back in time, I knew it was amazing. But to say that it was going to become an anthem, I didn't know. I know that, Babyface and L.A. Reid and Daryl Simmons were on just a beautiful stroke of creativity in their life. And I was just so blessed that they saw that in me at, 22. What the heck did I know about being somebody's Superwoman, right? And when I look back on it, but I think that song was my truth. I grew into that, because when I sang it before, it was based on my family, my mother, I'm the baby, so I have older sisters. And I really couldn't really relate to it, but now I'm like, oh, they were prophesying there, and so I'm really excited that I was able to sing that song. It was a great separator because it was Janet Jackson, Jodie Watley, Vanessa Williams, Karyn White, Pebbles. So when I came out with that song, it was like totally in my own lane. So, and that's really who I am. I love women. I champion women. And so I'm just grateful that, it all worked out.
What has happened right now, your view with music? Because like you said, back then we had all these great female artists and they were pushing out these great songs, and I don't know, I feel like it's a change now where we don't have as much. We maybe have one or two, but we don't have as many that like they're out there, but they're not getting us hits and anthems like you guys did.
And they're not too different. They kind of all sound the same. They kind of all have the same message. What do you think?
Wow. You guys, you hit the nail on the head. It's the industry. It's the diversity has definitely changed. There is in the business, we all know that, having streaming and the whole internet, it changed the whole business model. So people aren't going to take chances on those type of artists. They just kind of want that microwave type of artist that either sounds like Beyonce or Rihanna at one point, and that was what, they weren't trying to find the Phyllis Hymans and the Anita Bakers, the different, it was just that type. And because of a business model, it's like, I'm not going to invest. What if it doesn't pop? So I definitely, I was listening to somebody talk about Folded, and they were talking about how that had a story. And that's why they really thought that was big on TikTok. And I was just like, wow. I was like, I told my partner, I was like, man, in the 90s, that's all we did was tell stories.
You're talking about.
So I was like, y'all need to go back because, like, y'all have. And then they said, like, you can use each part. The verses are different. There's a chorus, and then there's a print. And I was just like, y'all just, Babyface, L.A. Reid. I mean, all these, they really were big storytellers, and Prince, and just, we just were Gladys. We were so blessed to have those kind of artists growing up, and. But it was tough competing, on the charts with Anita Baker. Come on now. Like that alone, and then a Whitney Houston. So it was a very competitive time. But the beautiful part was that we were able to all shine. For some reason, it was like they were trying to make us each other. Even with me and Jody, we kind of had the same kind of aesthetic. But yet, I feel like we still had our, because everybody had the big hair in the 80s. And I'm going to champion it because I remember I was one of the first coming to my girl Carla, who did Carla Harris. She did the extensions, right? And I remember her saying, this is before I made it. I just did it with Jeff Lorber. She was like, oh my God, Janet wants to, she wants to see my product, and I want to bring you over there, to her house in Encino and let her see your extensions. And so it's so funny because when these young folks be telling me when I go in their salons about curly hair, I was like, y'all don't even know. Like, go pull up that album cover. Like, it was Janet copied me, honestly, but of course we all love Janet, but we all had our, like I said, individuality, and I loved the time, it was a beautiful time.
When you were talking about what you said, folding, is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh, did by,
no,
Lonnie
Kalani.
Kalani.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Karyn White's single, You're Gonna Want Me Back. We've got more on Café Mocha.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Café Mocha.
To weigh in on the conversation, DM us at Café Mocha Radio on Instagram. We're talking to the multi-platinum recording artist Karyn White. Let's get back to it.
When you go in the studio, or when you started your creative process all over again, did you have, your producers, were you telling them, I want it this way, I'm looking for this style? Now that you are sure of who you are and you're not being guided by someone, is it easier to get your point across of what you're trying to display this time around?
Girl, it was so easy. Because like, even for me, I feel like, these tracks, I'm like, y'all, stop sending me tracks. I need some music. You know what I mean? And I had a project that I did before this, Gale in the Storm, where we kind of borrowed from the 70s. I did it with my producer, D.O.A. Allen. And it was like funk, real soulful 70s sound. So I had already experimented with where I wanted to go. So this time, I'm a big fan of Raphael Sadiq. I love his vibe. I feel like it's every era. You know what I mean? It's not a dated sound because it's real music. And so yeah, I just, for me, I knew what I wanted to say. I understood, like, no, if the music doesn't have a vibe, I'm not even going to be inspired to write anything because it's got to put me in a place. When I hear just the music alone, I got to know, is this giving me, am I feeling sad? Am I feeling melancholy? Am I feeling powerful? So if it doesn't have that in that music already, I'm not even touching it. So I actually came up with the Dionne Warwick. I heard, a few years back, a song called You're Gonna Need Me. And there was her chorus. So I did like a rapper. This was really cool. So I took the chorus and then I kind of added on to the chorus. And then I wrote the verses. And then I sent it to DOA, and I said I kind of want that, Earth, Wind and Fire, Lenny Kravitz, Raphael Sadiq, real music. And so he knows me so well from us writing together, and I came back, and I was like, wow, it was really beautiful. And then we added horns, and I was making a statement because I felt like I love the fact that a lot of us legacy artists on the charts, I'm starting to see we'll want to sound young, which is cool because I'm for it, young vibe, but it better be good because we have a legacy to compete with. So that's the only difference is like you can play there, but you better be, you better be talking about something because you know the era that we came from, right? So it was really fun this time to do it without any producers and have my own voice and know that I'm empowering. And this was the cool chick right now. It's like, girl, in my age range, like we done have relationships. Some have worked, some have not. But when you've given all that you can give and you know it, you can walk away not feeling guilty, like, you didn't give your all or this for the kids. It's just like, hey, you're going to want me back. And that's taking your power back in a way that makes you feel good about if something doesn't serve you, let it go.
Talking about relationships and not getting too personal, you were married
Come on, girl. No.
Terry Lewis of Jimmy
The
Jam.
incredible Terry Lewis. He's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
and both of them,
the
they've been
icon.
on our show.
Oh, yeah. So
Fabulous
you know.
guys.
You know.
You know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But let's talk about the fact that because many women, Karyn, they're going through the stage of rebuilding and trying to figure out how to rebuild. And, how did you find your independence after something so personal happened?
Yeah, that was devastating. And it's like, I wish I could go back because the young Karyn was so immature and didn't really understand how to like scream and say, hear me, see me without making things fall apart. Being a stepmom, also Terry and I adopted he was my niece. He's my niece's nephew. So in the family, not quite related to me, but I adopted him. His name was Brandon Lewis. And so I'm 22, 23, coming to Minnesota with a stepson that Terry's like, bring him. Like, first of all, who says that, right? And even with me being at the height of my career, wanting to take on, because my the niece's cousin was young. She, had like 2 or 3 kids at like 17 or something like that. So I felt like I love Brandon and I wanted to, his last name was Lewis and I had 2 stepchildren. So I didn't know how to navigate all these. That's why I tell you, please give me some grace. I didn't know how to be a stepmom, a recording artist, a wife. And I just didn't know, there was no book on it. You know what I mean? But I wish my mama would have just sat me down and said, some things. But everybody thinks you're successful because you're making money. But it's like, girl, that's just, family was very important to me. But getting back to what we said, what were we talking about? What was the question about how did I navigate and get my confidence back? I think that was a part of the
how
question.
did you, when you went through that whole stage of the divorce and then get yourself back, how did that happen?
It was very tough. I made some really bad decisions in relationships. But the Lord was so good because I felt like he had me covered and I was able to grow from a lot of these mistakes. But I went through a very dark period where I didn't want to sing anymore. I just, I thank God I was still driven. But I was, we had built this home together. So I was like, what else do I love to do? Because I didn't want to fall apart in front of the world. It's like, why didn't it work? People, why didn't it work? But thank God we didn't have social media. So I didn't have to deal with that. But confidence, my mother was passing. I just really, confidence happens when you do hard things. And when you get through it and you're trusting God and that's the only thing you can look up and, I'm not really, leaning on any type of like drugs or anything like that. It's like doing some hard growth and looking at yourself, having some good friends that send me over some tapes that maybe they couldn't say it themselves, but it was a minister, Joyce Myers. And I was like, oh, I hear myself in that. So I really went on a journey to really like, get your stuff together, girl. What is it? How do you lose all of this? And it was like the record deal happened right after the divorce, my mother. So it was loss on top of loss. But I'm so thankful that I was able to, the Lord had me, and I know he's always had me. I just was being disobedient to what I really knew. And I went through the wilderness, y'all. I went through the wilderness, but I love who I came out shining with so much love, so much respect for the things that I used to have, didn't have anymore. And so as I walk into this journey today, I have so much gratitude for every little thing, for this podcast, for just the little things that I took for granted, because youth is wasted on the young. We think we know. We think we always gonna be hot. Like it happened kind of fast for me. And so those things really, it's been tough coming back. So I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, God. But I'm happy because, like I said, I've grown. I really have grown, and I want to give and share that. So, I want to be able to help navigate youngsters and tell them, no, baby.
On that point, you have the Karyn White Foundation. What
Mhm.
are some of the ways that you're inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs and, helping them get that confidence and put that business out there?
Yeah, well, at first it started, the foundation started in COVID during 2019, and I wanted to give back. And so we started it then. I gave away grants to female entrepreneurs and business that were starting out. I think we gave around maybe 10 or 15 grants the first year. But I kept wanting my real goal and dream is to have the Karyn White Superwoman conference, and where we have the best, spiritual teachers, financial literacy, health and wellness, just everything. I think that I wish I would have had somebody in my life to kind of help me be all that the best version of myself. So I'm definitely looking at doing that, hopefully, if not this year, next year, and just giving back to the community. And just, I really, when I say that, having the sisterhood is so important, having somebody that you can talk to and call, and whether it be myself or someone else, whether it's understanding everything I learned, I want to share with you about cash balance accounts and 401ks that you connect to your different accounts and IRAs. And there's so much that I've learned when I was out here being a businesswoman, being a real estate investor, and not an artist. So coming back, I just feel like I want to share all that. So this is what the foundation is about, you guys, and just everything, just sharing and helping us be the best versions of ourselves. And that's what I want to do.
Well, the title of your song is called "You're Gonna Want Me Back," and I feel like every woman is listening to the lyrics, thinking, "Yep," because I'm like that. You gonna want me back, no matter what. So, what kind of messages are you wanting to get to us in your music?
Wow. Well, first, the message is it's not an ego or an arrogance, because when you are that woman that you're supposed to be, and there's no ego involved in it, when you love, it's not a conditional love. And so that's why I was saying things. Sometimes it's not your fault. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this is for my women, because I got to speak to who I am. And, and it's just having the clarity to know some things, you outgrow situations and things. And it's just, like I said, giving yourself permission to, if it's not right, because sometimes we just stay for all the wrong reasons, and it tears you up. So I just want people to just say, when you can say you're gonna want me back, that means you was cold with it. Like, you know what I mean? You was like, hey, I know who I am. You know what I mean? And if we can say that, just think it, because the mothers, we are, we are the givers of life. And if we're off, the woman is off. Woo! It's producing a household that is toxic and crazy. If mama is all that, it's a whole nother energy that's in that home. So I'm hoping that that's what I'm sharing, not from ego though, but from
Right.
giving, from really giving and being what you're supposed to be.
And ain't
Which
nothing
I
wrong with a
love.
little bit of something
I was gonna,
to.
Oh yeah,
I was,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I, I was gonna say, listen, when I sing songs that touch me, I'm, what's Fantasia's? If you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
Oh yes,
I'm
yes,
singing it with all gut.
yes. That's
Before we let
right.
you go, Miss Karyn, you will be on tour in South Africa this year. Can you talk about that and your love for South Africa?
Oh my God, let me tell you what happened. See, this is the thing that's why you got to really understand God's timing, because I left the business for 18 years. It's been hard coming back over here in the States. They like how you look, how you sound. Let
Come
me
on.
see all the things, right? Before they'll, book a show for you and all these things. And I didn't care. I was so strong and knew who I was and grounded. I was like, I'm ready. Let's go. What you want? And I kind of made it fun. So South Africa, I had no clue. I went over there in 2017. I'm like blown away. I'm up here playing arenas, y'all, in South Africa. I would have felt like it was 1988, 1989 at the height. I'm like, what? And God was like, preserve them. They love me. It's a part of their curriculum. Like my whole make them do right. They had to write all kind of like speeches about Superwoman and I'd rather be
Wow.
alone, all this empowerment. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, that's why I love South Africa, because they chose me, They chose me, and I'm just thankful because I needed that win. So when I come back to the States, I'm like, that's all right. I got South Africa.
That's right.
Y'all want to play me like that?
That's right.
We want to see you over here also. I mean, we'd love to take a trip to South Africa, but are you doing any state touring?
Oh yes. No, it's been so amazing. It's been, like I said, I've been proving them. I've been getting down, showing them all the things. Like, don't forget, y'all just keep thinking I'm only Superwoman. I'm a whole New Jack, Queen of New Jack. So
Right.
it's been really fun. Like I said, we've been doing city wineries, which has been really smart because I'm gathering my fan base, reconnecting, selling out like maybe 2 and 3 days, doing those. And then I'll be doing something with Stephanie Mills and After Seven. So doing spot dates. And this has been like, I started out doing like 1 and 2 shows, and then now I'm up to like 40 a year. So God has been so good. Yay! So y'all will see me. Are you? We gotta get on something together. They gotta book us together, yo at
Your
some point.
manager's
Yeah.
working on it. Your manager's working on it
Oh, that would be hot. That would be
for
hot.
some of those wineries.
Yes, that would be dope.
I love this conversation, and we love
Aw,
you, Karyn White. How
thank
can we keep in
you.
touch with you?
Yes. Okay. I'm Karyn White Official, Karyn, on all platforms. And sign up at my website. That's what I'm trying to really push as far as being an independent artist. I want to have a direct connection with you. I'm always sending empowering things weekly, telling you what I'm going through on these charts right now, all the things. So I'm definitely a big person, a lot of love to give to my fans. So sign up at KarynWhite.me.
And your
Love
t-shirts
that.
are great.
Thank you.
Her new song, You're Gonna Want Me Back. Plus, check out her tour dates on Instagram at Karyn White Official. Up next, he brought us films like Roscoe Jenkins, Girls Trip, and of course, the Best Man movies. Malcolm D. Lee is next.
We're at Café Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Café Mocha on the way.
UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Café Mocha.
It's Café Mocha with Lonnie Love, Angelique, and Yo-Yo on the line. He is a powerhouse director, producer, and writer behind hits like The Best Man franchise, Girls Trip, Space Jam, A New Legacy, and more. And you know what? We just love having him check in with us on Café Mocha. It's Malcolm D. Lee. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello, hello. Good day. How are you?
We're
Oh,
great.
we're great. The last time, we had you on here, you said that the final chapters of The Best Man will probably be the last of the Best Man movies. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of a new film, you've written a wonderful book titled The Best Man Unfinished Business, a novel continuation of your film series. What made you want to do a book?
Well, okay. Let me say this. I did say that was it, and I thought that it was. I felt like I didn't do everything I wanted to do with the final series, so I said, well, let me see if I can continue this, in this form and try this form of storytelling. And so I approached Crown Publishing and Storehouse Voices, and they said, yeah, let's do it. So, I pitched them a three book series, and teamed up with Jane Allen, and decided, I'm going to keep talking about these characters and doing it in a way that it's a longer form and a more intimate form than we've got to experience thus far.
But I wonder, writing a film or TV script is totally different than a novel. I mean, you can rely in TV and film, you can rely on the pictures, the sound, the music,
Yep.
facial expressions,
Yep.
but novels are totally different. What was it like doing that transition?
It was kind of freeing, to tell you the truth. It's an opportunity to, be, much more long form about the storytelling. And yes, you're absolutely right. Music, the visual, the costumes, the setting are all things that movies do, so beautifully. But what books can do is also give you a visual, give you a smell, give you tastes, get you inside the brain of the characters. You get to know these characters that you think that you think that you've followed over the past 2+ decades, and now you're going to get an opportunity to get inside their heads in a way that you haven't before. And also doing this form of writing allows you to tell the story in many different places. This thing takes place in New York, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, and it takes place in Accra, Ghana. Accra is the capital of Ghana.
Okay.
She ain't been nowhere.
I ain't been nowhere. I got one stamp in my passport to Toronto.
And that's Kentucky. That's where she...
Well, I hear you. Well, you know what? This will allow you to travel. This book will allow you to travel to that place.
Wow.
And so that's, one of the things about it that, was a new challenge and also, again, quite freeing and in a way that, like, hey, like I don't have to worry about budgets or or studio executive thoughts or the actors wanting to change dialogue or whatever. I'm like, this is what it needs to be.
Café Mocha, we're on the line with the man behind the Best Man movies, Malcolm D. Lee. Let's get back into it.
Now, you've only written the first novel, right? You haven't
Correct.
written the other two. How long did it take you, and what's your writing process, and is it different from your film writing process?
Well, it's, somewhat different, in that when I write a screenplay, I'm usually doing it on my own. I had a collaborator on this one, just like I had a collaborator, numerous collaborators on Best Man Final Chapters. So I had a collaborator, and we actually, I had an idea about what I wanted to do, and explained it to her, to Jane Allen, who's written the Black Girls Must Die series, and she was, a great sounding board and person to partner with on this. And so, like, we actually, when we started talking and outlining and whatnot, it was, March of last year, and we finished around January. So it was, and that's with, me doing a ton of other stuff and her doing a ton of other stuff. So it wasn't like every day. And it takes a little bit of time for sure. It was a pretty intense timeline, but we got it done, and I think we got something done that was, I think people are really going to be enthralled with. It's not just like, oh, cookie cutter kind of like, right? I think we did a job that's very elevated, and that people are really going to want to keep turning the page for. And it's it goes there. It's a little spicy at times.
I love it.
Like spicy.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line, Malcolm D. Lee, talking about his new book, The Best Man, Unfinished Business. Now, Harper, Jordan, and Robin have been central to the series, and in the novel, they face significant life changes. What aspects of their personalities or journeys did you find most compelling to explore in the new medium?
I tell you what, they're all going through midlife metamorphosis, much like they did in Best Man Final Chapters. And, we get a chance in each chapter to go from their perspective. So, like, whole chapters are dedicated to Harper's POV, to Jordan's, to Robin's. And, the other characters play a role and they make appearances and what have you. But, Harper is at a place where, it's post-divorce. He's living that bachelor life. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He's writing a sequel to a movie. But he's kind of untethered in his life, feeling a little bit kicked out. And Jordan has quit her job as she did at the end of Final Chapters. High-paying corporate job, and she's doing mostly self-care and therapy out in Malibu, and like moved away and tried to just center her life on herself. But she too is feeling a bit like, I have only known the hustle all my life. So like, how is she going to balance that? And Robin obviously is in a completely new place post-divorce. She's opened a new restaurant in Ghana. She's trying to make it. She's a great chef, but is she a great business person, a business owner? That's kind of the challenges he's having. Plus, raising her preteen daughter in a different country. So she has her own challenges, and there might be a male suitor that's coming her way as well.
Yes, that's what I want to know. Can't wait to read that part. Malcolm, you have built a lane that balances box office success with authentic Black narratives. How do you navigate Hollywood's pressures while trying to stay true to our stories?
That's the first thing that I do is try to stay true to us, be authentic in my storytelling and my depiction of Black people, of Black men in particular. My production company is called Black Mailed Productions, MALED. And, from the very beginning, I wanted to write to and about Black men because I don't think we've been fairly portrayed in media, both popular and so-called news. And so, that's always been my thing. And like, I always want to tell universal stories, and that many can relate to. It has cultural specificity, but there's a universality that everyone can relate to. Whether you go from The First Best Man to Space Jam, there's always something that Americans can latch on to. And so I think it taps into first our voice and our experiences, and then that broadens out from there. Because if we like it, then it's going to be dope.
Lonnie Love's currently on tour with Martin Lawrence in May. They're going to Atlantic City, Brooklyn, a couple dates in Charlotte. Yo-Yo just wrapped up the latest season of Downright Delicious. You can catch up by going to Aspire TV. More with Malcolm D. Lee coming up. At some point, we need to get some details on Girls Trip, too.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is The Espresso. The United Nations calls slavery the gravest crime against humanity and called for a resolution for reparations. America was one of 3 nations that voted no. The president of Ghana said the U.S. is trying to erase our history.
Schools are being mandated to stop teaching students about the truth of slavery, segregation, and racism. These policies are becoming a template for other governments. They're slowly normalizing the erasure.
If you're plus size and flying Southwest, they might ask you to buy a second seat like they did Ruby in Nashville.
I'm like, is there any way that I can go test to see if I can fit in the seat? Like, you're telling me I can't get in the seat before I even got in the seat. And he, informed me that there was no way to for him to do that.
A new study suggests going to a HBCU is good for your health.
Attending a historically black college or university as a young adult may be linked to better later life cognitive outcomes for Black Americans.
Agree, disagree? DM us at Café Mocha Radio on Instagram. That's the espresso.
UNITY, UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Café Mocha.
Café Mocha, we're on the line with the man behind the Best Man movies, Malcolm D. Lee. Let's get back into it. But I wonder, your first Best Man came out in the 90s, and the 90s was all about boys in the hood type movies, shoot 'em up movies. So how did you even convince Hollywood that this, romantic comedy / drama had any value at all?
It's interesting. The community was ready for it. I think, movies like Love Jones, movies like Soul Food, were demonstrated to the studios that, that Black people wanted more than just shoot 'em up, stories and pathology and, slave narratives and hood narratives. And so, in fact, I waited until Soul Food came out and became a hit before I hit the studios with The Best Man. In fact, I timed it to be that way, to say, okay, if this movie does well, this movie that's centered around 3 Black women, Vivica Fox, Nia Long, Vanessa Williams, that Babyface was producing, it could possibly be a hit movie. And fortunately, the studios did see that. The acting community was ready for it. Wedding movies were very popular at that time. Whether you look at Muriel's Wedding, My Best Friend's Wedding, on and so, these were very popular movies. There hadn't been a Black wedding movie to date. So I wanted to capitalize on that popularity as well, because hey, Black people like to get the whole wedding experience as well. So and it's funny, I wasn't even trying to attract women to go see this movie. I was aiming squarely at dudes. But, the women came along, and I was very happy that they did.
They said if the men are there, the women going to be right behind them. Also, Mr. Lee, please tell me, you're in pre-production for Girls Trip 2?
Whoop, whoop.
Well, we're not in pre-production, but we are in deep development, and we are very hopeful to be shooting soon.
I will take that.
I think it's time for the Flossy Posse to come back.
Yes,
it's time, and Black women are having a moment right now where it's just like, hey, what else can we do? To save the country again and save and then also save ourselves. So I think what better way to do that than with a girls trip, another girls trip.
Yeah, we definitely need it.
We're talking to filmmaker Malcolm D. Lee of The Best Man movies. If you want to see how it all turns out and get down to some of the nitty gritty of these characters, you got to check out his novel. It's called The Best Man, Unfinished Business. This is Café Mocha.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Café Mocha.
Café Mocha celebrating 15 years of great music, empowering events, and compelling interviews. Right now, we're on the line with filmmaker Malcolm D. Lee, writer of The Best Man movies.
As a director, Malcolm, there's a lot of pressure. This whole Hollywood system has changed. I mean, people on the inside see that it has changed. How has it changed for you? Is it harder to make a movie? Is it more discouraging? What are your thoughts right now with the Hollywood system?
I think, it's a challenge. We went through a pandemic where things slowed down. People were working, they were writing things or what have you, and and things were getting produced. I think, the streaming bubble burst, where not everyone was trying to make a streaming service. Not everybody was good at it, so they're scaling back. And then there was a huge writer and actor strike that really, dampened things quite a bit. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges. I think all the studios are making less things. They are also very gun shy because there were so many choices out there, and like not everybody's watching everything, and there's no way they possibly can. So they are definitely shrinking. It's contracting. And so, like I'm trying to, bob when I got to weave and weave when I got to bob, and, try to stay in the business as a producer, as a writer, as a director. In fact, I just finished shooting a thriller with Universal Pictures and Blumhouse.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's my first foray, and I've been wanting to branch out from comedy anyway. So here's a good opportunity to still stay theatricals, because most times thrillers and horror movies are in the theater. People still want to be have that communal experience of being scared together. I'm hoping that they'll want to come back to the theater to see comedy in that way as well.
And congratulations. I had saw on Deadline about your thriller.
Yeah.
Is this going to star Chloe Bailey, Lynn Whitfield, and you are directing? I'm just so excited about that. So,
I hope you'll feel that way. I'm excited too. I'm excited to show it to the world. I mean, I'm in the editing process now, and it's a good little movie. I'm happy with it. I think it's got a lot of twists and turns, and hopefully it keeps people guessing.
Blumhouse does the best horror movies / thriller movies. Is it a scary movie? Is it just a thriller? How would you describe it?
I would say it's a thriller. It's a bit of a coming of age and a little bit of a love story. I know I talked about spicy with the book. This movie's quite spicy.
Love it. I love it.
It's what we call an erotic thriller.
Oh,
right. We like that.
Yeah, Angelique like that. Angelique like erotic freaks.
Anything erotic.
Okay. The name of the book is called The Best Man, Unfinished Business. It will be released July the 1st. Make sure to pick up a copy. We have been talking to Malcolm D. Lee, now author, published author.
How about that? I'm excited for you guys to read it. I think you're gonna if you like the Best Man movies and the Best Man franchise, you will love this book. Even if you don't like to read, and if you don't like to read, get an audio book. You'll love hearing it.
Hey,
I love it. Thank you so much for your time, Malcolm. We appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
That's the show. Coming soon to Café Mocha. We've got stats and experts on internet dating. I'll be sharing my story, so I want you to share yours too. Just shoot us a message on Instagram at Café Mocha Radio. Café Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.